guys, TARDIS here for another episode of my TARDIS tutorial. So today, here's what we're going to be covering. Something to do with the current coordinate flight system. So right now it's just a case of we lock the door, dematerialize, click a location like somewhere we're not ready, like the river, rematerialize, unlock, and we walk out, and we're at the river. So that's how the system works currently, and what you'll notice about it is that the buttons being just on the console, that takes up an entire, like, 3 buttons just to do that. And, you know, you could expand it, you could make this like a full block and put, like, buttons on the sides and all kinds of different stuff, but between that and like the names and stuff, eventually you're just going to run out of space for all the buttons you need to put, and it's going to be a hassle putting all the armor stands for the names and all kinds of stuff is just going to get cumbersome with that, and you're going to have to do all this coding of the command blocks, and I just have a much tidier way of doing traveling to different coordinates like that, which I would like to present in this video. So what I have in mind is a system kind of similar to how we do like time or the chameleon circuit right now, except it won't be the same, it won't be a repeater, but basically that allows you to do like 3 or 4 different settings in just one block with the use of the repeater. I'm going to do something similar, but it's not using a repeater, it's a little different. So my idea is to use like a button and have every time you press the button it cycles through to a new location, hence the name of this video, the location cycler. So we would have just one button instead of 3 and countless more. And it's very, very easy in that case to add on to your location cycler, so it's a much, much better system in every way possible. So the first thing I'm going to do is a fairly simple thing, just remove the armor stands with these names, because we only need one now. So yeah, I'll do that and I'll be right back. You just kill them and then replace it with just one single armor stand that says location cycler. So yeah, I will be back. Okay, so now I've done this. I've removed 2 of the buttons, left one standing and with its armor stand, which is called location. The other armor stands have been killed using commands, and this one is all that remains. So yeah, now is probably the very complicated bit. Okay, so yeah, that's going to stay on because the name tag thing isn't set for that, so we need to find the system that I believe used to say village and just replace it all to say location, so that this will now make the name on the armor stand visible. So just name both of those to location, and we no longer need the ones that say mansion and river and all that, because basically just get rid of the other controls for the making the name tags show up on your locations, because we don't need these anymore, because obviously those armor stands no longer exist. It'll free up some space also, which is useful. So that can stay. Mansion, though, needs to go. And there we go. So how are we going to make this new location cycling system? So let's just find a open space. So make this platform kind of especially long, but only about 2 or 3 blocks deep, probably. So I probably made it a bit too deep there. So yeah, and we're just going to need to expand this to be longer as we implement more locations. So basically how this is going to work is actually quite simple. So the biggest things we're going to need for this is pressure plates and another armor stand. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a pressure plate every 2 blocks, roughly. So yeah, just place pressure plates with one block in between, and just do this till you get to the end, and we can expand it as we have more locations, but this is way more than enough already. Place some command blocks so the pressure plate activates them, and we want to go to one of our old location things. It's this one. I believe this is one of them. This is the river, so we're just going to grab these two command blocks. We no longer need the original one that was testing for the button, because we're obviously not using that button anymore. So let's bring the two command blocks that sent the TARDIS to the river, and let's bring them over here. What we want to do is just place them right in here. Set to river, and this other one should be teleport the TARDIS. Now just repeat the process with your other locations. Alright, so those are our three locations. And when you get to the end of the cycler, what you want to do is place a command block with no command in it just yet. We want to make it, okay, we need to get the coordinates of this beginning pressure plate here. So let's just use a set block command to get those. And then we want to come back over here and just paste that in and do /tp @e name equals cycler or something like that. And right now we have no @e, which is called cycler. So what we need to do is just summon right here on these coordinates armor stand called cycler. Armor stand at those coordinates, which is custom name. We don't need to make the custom name visible on this one because we don't want it to be visible. So we just do this, and we call it cycler. And then we could just make it invulnerable :1. Yeah, but we don't need to make it invisible, so this is all we need for this. And there we go. There is summoned new cycler. It says TARDIS location set to river. It's not set to the river, so we're all good. And then this, what it'll do is, so basically what we're going to do is the button that'll be on the console, all it's going to do is teleport this 2 blocks in this direction so that it goes onto a new location and teleports your TARDIS there. And then when it gets here, it just goes back to the beginning. So basically, every time you press the button, it'll just cycle through the locations. And as you add more, you just move this block along to the end. So this is moving in the -x direction by the looks of things. So what we need to do is head over to our little location cycler button, and we just take its coordinates. And we come out, and we just go, and just right here, maybe I will put this, and we'll just say execute if the block at those coordinates is a stone button powered equals true. Where's true? There's true. Just make it needs redstone always active, and have a repeater, or not a repeater, a comparator. And every time that button is pressed, what we want it to do is execute at @e name equals cycler, comma limit equals 1, and then run tp @e name equals cycler -2 blocks. So theoretically it should do that, and it should tell us that the location's been selected when we do that. So see, this is working. It's moving the armor stand and it's selecting locations, and it should just default back to the river because I believe that was the first one. So yeah, it appears to be correctly cycling the armor stand across, running through the locations in a cycle. Now, one thing that I will probably do is just make it unable to say this unless the TARDIS is dematerialized. So how am I going to do that real quick? Well, that's very simple. Because I don't want it saying that the TARDIS is set to a location, because the moment we dematerialize it, we'll probably just have to start pressing the buttons again and cycle all the way back through, because it has nothing to teleport when the TARDIS isn't dematerialized. What I'm going to do to actually fix that is just move this over here and get a sticky piston, and we're going to run a line of redstone. So to do that, we need a repeater. We just do this, and then let's just build a little, oh, that's not stone, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Then we just do something like this, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just need a couple of blocks behind here, and then we just need this to push, and this will get pushed if the TARDIS is rematerialized. It won't be able to cycle, basically, is what we're getting at. So let's grab the command block that controls when the TARDIS is rematerialized, which I believe is here. Yeah, when it changes the demat TARDIS to locked. So when the TARDIS is rematerialized, this should lock, there we go, and not be able to cycle the locations, which makes logical sense. So it won't set it to a new location, and won't be able to until we've dematerialized, basically, is what I'm getting at. Alright, so let's head in here, and it shouldn't do anything when we press the button. Nope, because it can't cycle. So what do? Lock the door, dematerialize, and then we can cycle through a location. If we set it to the mansion, we dematerialize, lock the door, walk out, and of course there's lag, and here we are at the mansion, and there we go. Lock the door, dematerialize, we can cycle back to the village. Doors are unlocked. Oh, here we go. So yeah, we can see we've now basically, all we've really done this entire episode, we have condensed those 3 or more, if you've expanded your locations, those 3 or more buttons we have basically now condensed into just one single button that can basically cycle through endless locations. However many you want to put in there, you just expand that line down more. So yeah, that's basically what we've been doing this episode. I have been Tebow2. Goodbye.